Hey guys, it's Caleb from Rokblokz. Today in the shop we have this 2024 Expedition. We've got a new mud flap kit for it, so let's go ahead and show you how to install it. Here we have the tools laid out that you'll need for install. Today we'll be using a pry tool. You can also use a flathead if you have one handy. Then we'll be using our 90-degree screwdriver with a couple of our Phillips head bits. Then you'll need a 7/32 socket and a level. Here we have the front laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your main flap for that corner. You'll get your front mount plate and then the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Before we head to the vehicle, we're going to take our flange nuts and we're going to press them into our mount plate here from the etch side. So we're just going to go ahead, align those with the hex holes. Press those in. You may need a mallet to help get them in. Just make sure they're aligned before doing so you don't damage the hole. Now let's head to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the front fender. We're going to begin by removing the factory hardware. It'll be the two inserts down along the bottom here and then one screw up along the edge here. This will be a 7/32 socket and we've already loosened ours, so we'll just finish that by hand, get that out of the way. We will be reusing that. And then these two bottom inserts, they can sometimes be stubborn, so you'll pop the center core with your pry tool or flathead and then you'll pry the actual insert out. With those out of the way, we can now go ahead. We're going to lift the liner out of the way. We're going to slide our clips onto the metal flange that's here and align them with the holes. Now we can go ahead, tuck our liner back into place behind the fender's edge. We can take our mount plate. We're going to do it so that way the non-etch side is facing the tire, and we're going to tuck it behind the ear right here. Then we'll also tuck the rest of it along the fender's edge, pushing it as far out up against the fender as we can. And with the hole aligned in the bracket, we're going to put our screw back in, and that's going to go back into the clip that is on the liner. And then we'll go ahead and tighten that back down. There's your tightening. You want to make sure that this stays towards the outside of the fender. With the mount plate fully in place and that OEM screw fully tightened down, holding it, we can grab our flap and begin mounting. Now we'll grab our flap, our 1-inch screw, and our washer, and we're just going to start with the lower mount hole. Screwing into that clip we placed behind the liner. Then we'll take our Phillips head 2. Okay, now we can grab our next 1-inch screw with washer. Lift the flap into position, going into that second hole, getting it started by hand, and then we'll tighten it up a bit with our wrench. Now we're going to take our smaller machine screws, and those are going to thread into the flange nuts in our mount plate here. It might be a little tricky to start. Just make sure that you're fully lined up and gently pressing inward. Once they catch a few threads, then we can go ahead and grab our screwdriver. Now before they're fully tightened down, we have all our screws in place, we can go ahead and set the flap in our adjustment, checking along the bottom edge with our level. Once you get it set to where you want, you can fully tighten down all 4 screws. With all the screws fully tightened down, that completes the front install. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Now let's go ahead and jump to the rear. have the rear laid out, what you'll get in your kit is your rear flap for that corner, then you'll get the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Now let's head to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the rear of the vehicle. We're going to begin by removing the factory inserts from here, 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 and here. Same as on the front, we're just going to take our pry tool, pop the center core. We've already got ours popped a little bit. They can be a little bit tricky, but they do have a little notch where you can get your pry tool or your flathead under, and then we'll just completely remove them by popping them out like so. Just be gentle not to damage anything once removing them. We can go ahead and set those to the side. Now, with those out of the way, we can go ahead and take our long metal clips. We're going to take our pry tool or our flathead, and we're just going to expand them just a little bit to make installation a little easier. So we'll go ahead and get all 4 of those expanded. Now we're going to lift the liner out of our way, and we're going to place our clips over the 4 mounting holes. One right here on this lower liner. Push that down until it aligns with the hole. And then another one right here. Right here. There's an extra hole here that we'll skip, and then one up here. Now that we've got our clips in place, we'll tuck the liner back into its original position, like so. We'll grab our flap and begin mounting. To start, I'm going to mount from this hole right here, just to get that aligned and set up, and then we'll screw that in by hand. And then with that one, it'll kind of balance the flap so we can grab our other hardware. Now I'm just going to align all the other holes. This inner one, you may need to fiddle with the soft liner on the back side just to make sure it stays in place, and then get that started. That one will be the most stiff. Now we're just going to work our way up the fender. With all our screws in place, we're going to tighten them with our Phillips head 3, and we're going to lightly snug them down, and then we'll make our final adjustments. Make our final adjustments, check along the bottom edge with our level, get it set to where we want it. Now we'll fully tighten those down. With those fully tightened down, that completes the rear install. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Thanks for watching.